I call this meeting of the Burlington County Board of Chosen Freeholders to order. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father, help us to be receptive to the thoughts and challenges that come to us through prayer, through the printed page, and from the world around us, and help our leaders to find the best solutions to the problems that we face. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. Also pursuant to the 2014 bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington, time shall be set aside on the agenda for the receipt of public comments. Public comments will be received with respect to agenda items prior to board consideration of resolutions to be adopted. An additional opportunity for public comment will occur later in the meeting. Public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Unused time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons may speak once per public comment period. I direct the Deputy Clerk to enter into the minutes of this meeting, this public announcement, and the advance written notice of this meeting. Freeholder Belgard.
Here.
Freeholder Donnelly.
Here.
Freeholder Gargano.
Present.
Freeholder Schwartz.
Here.
And Deputy Director Howard.
Here. At this time, there is a reason for nominations for the director of the Freeholder Board. I'd like to let everybody know that I've just taken the time to remain as Deputy Director, and I'd like to nominate Bruce Gargano as Director.
I'd like to make another nomination. I'd like to nominate Joe Donnelly.
One second.
No seconds.
Can I hear a second on Director
No
Gargano?
seconds.
There's no seconds.
There's no seconds.
Vote by name.
Okay. Roll call, vote by name, please.
Freeholder Belgard.
Donnelly.
Freeholder Donnelly.
Gargano.
Freeholder Howard.
Gargano.
Freeholder Schwartz.
Donnelly.
And Freeholder Gargano.
Gargano.
Freeholder Gargano, if I could administer the oath of Freeholder Director to, which I ask you to stand. Raise your right hand. Would you repeat after me, please? I, Bruce Gargano.
I, Bruce Gargano,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will impartially and justly
that I will impartially and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of Freeholder Director
of the office of Freeholder Director
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
I, Bruce Gargano,
I, Bruce Gargano,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of
That
the
I will-
United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will build true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Hello, folks. All right, at this point, we'll be moving on to the departmental appointments by the director. At this point, we're just going to leave everything as it is. I'm going to take Leah's appointments. Everyone will be keeping the appointments that they have at this point. At this point, we're looking for approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion for the public meeting of March 12th and the conference meeting of March 12th?
So moved.
Motion by Freeholder Howard, second.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Donnelly. Questions or additions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention?
Abstain.
Abstain? I'm going to abstain also. We will be moving on now. I guess, Mary Pat, you have a presentation.
Yes, I do. This presentation is on the county's recreation, open space, and farmland and resource preservation trust fund. I didn't make up this name. It's the name in the statute. So in 1996 and in 1998, the county went to the voters and asked them to approve a referendum that would allow the board to raise 2 cents for each referendum for the purpose of open space, farmland preservation, and park development. The 1996 referendum had a sunset provision that expire in 2011. In like manner, the 1998 referendum would have sunset in 2018. In 2006, we went back to the voters and asked them to extend the board's authority to raise that tax until 2036. The voters overwhelmingly approved the question. So, the 20 referendum does not allocate the 4 cents that was allowed to be raised among the permitted purposes of the dedicated fund. So by resolution adopted every year, the board must approve the amount to be raised up to the 4 cents and then allocate the monies they are raising to the permitted uses of the trust fund. So those permitted uses are acquisition, development, maintenance of land for recreation and conservation purposes, also known as open space, acquisition of farmland, historic preservation, which also includes park development, park operation and maintenance, and payment of debt service on indebtedness associated with any of these purposes. So, since this tax was first approved, the county has been aggressively pursuing its farmland preservation program as well as its open space master plan and park development program. We have acquired easements on 27,000 acres of farmland that will be permanently preserved. That brings a total of acreage preserved in the county for farmland to 55,000. We're rated among the 6 counties in the nation as far as number of acres of preserved farmland. We have over 6,000 acres of preserved open space and have developed 8 regional parks, 9 miles of trail, and the county fairgrounds. Having this money available to us has enabled us to attract money from other partners. And to date, we have gotten over $106 million from our federal, state, and local partners that have helped us with the acquisition of open space and farmland. So starting in 2014, we have approximately $41.7 million in our trust fund. So just to give you a little idea, I had to throw this in. In 2013, we calculated that we had over 1 million visitors to our parks. And that's based on car counters that we have in the driveway of several parks. But we don't have them in Navajo, Crystal Lake, and Willingboro Lakes. So I'm sure the number is well over 1 million. And I just wanted to have this slide up there just to show how well the parks are received and how well they're being used. We have pavilions in the park that are available for rentals. Those pavilions are about 50% booked for the year, and we're only in March. So the parks are very well used. So we are recommending that in 2014, the board raise 1.5 cents for the dedicated levy. That will raise about 6.5 million. We're expecting 5.8 million from our other funding partners, and we will use approximately $17 million from that balance that we have available at the start of 2014. The expenditures will be, as you see, 2.3 million for salary and wages, other expenses, which is most of the expenses of running our office, fringe benefits, etc. 2.2. We will spend 9.5, we hope, for development of land, new parks and improvements to existing parks, and 9.1 to acquire farmland and open space. The majority of that will go to farmland this year because we're actually working on acquiring applications, easements for applications that we received in 2013 and for this year. Debt service numbers are about $6.7 million per year. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about how we're going to spend that money in 2014. Farmland preservation, we set a goal of 70,000 acres of preserved farmland in the county by 2018, which is about 1,000 acres per year. In our 2012 application round, we exceeded that goal by preserving 1,429 acres. In the 2013 application round, the freeholders this evening approved making offers to 11 landowners. If they accept our offer, we will have preserved another 1,100 acres of farmland. For the 2014 round, the application deadline closed at the end of last week, and we received 10 applications. If they make it through the process, we'll have another 2,000 acres of preserved farmland in the county. So we are really keeping in stride with the goals set for us in our farmland preservation plan. Open space preservation, we really don't expect to see that much activity. We've really acquired the land that we've identified as needed for regional parks and trailheads, but we will continue to pick up parcels of land that we need to make trail connections for our regional trail network. And we also have a program that assists our local municipalities if they are interested in purchasing any land for recreation and conservation purposes. Our park development projects in 2013 are three biggies: Crystal Lake Park, Anderson, and Willingboro Lakes. The freeholders approved moving ahead with these park development projects in 2013. So over the course of last year, we have developed concept plans. And this is the plan for Willingboro Lakes. And I'm not going to go over these in detail, but the basic improvements that will be made are access improvements from Route 130, another access off of Beverly Rancocas Road, and through the center of the park, we will have more park pavilions, a restroom facility here, and boat launches for kayaks and canoes. Crystal Lake Park, again, this is a park that exists. It's a great place, and we purchased it as pretty much a park. It was just a beautiful piece of property, and all we're really proposing to do is to, again, improve access off of Axe Factory Road, put in a parking lot. Right now it's gravel, a restroom facility, and some facilities for equestrians. What we're looking to do is provide for equestrian use for handicapped individuals by having horse unloading and mounting facilities that will assist disabled riders in this area. Anderson Farm is in Delran. It's 120 acres. We haven't opened this park up for public access to date, so we're only planning to do whatever we need to bring people in. This is Creek Road, Morristown over here, going into Delran. A parking lot and the ability to travel from that parking lot down to the creek, which is, this creek view is probably one of the most beautiful views that we have in all of our parks, and we will make that handicap accessible. We're hoping in the future that we'll have docks and boat ramps at this facility, but that gets into another level of permitting that will take us probably another year. So our intent is really to try to get this park open as quickly as we can. So in regional trail projects, we have a lot of irons in the fire here that we're continuing to work on. The core trail section will be up in the northern part of the county in our farm belt, and we have a 3-mile trail connection that we're working on between Mansfield Community Park and the Springfield Municipal Complex. We're working on a 9-mile trail along Arnie's Mount, also in Springfield. This past year, we opened our first segment of the Delaware River Heritage Trail, which starts at the Burlington City waterfront and is 2.8 miles. We're looking at ways to continue that trail but get around Route 130. We all know that there are pedestrian issues on Route 130, so we're looking for safe places to cross. We also have plans for a trail along the Rancocas Hocus Creek, and we're hoping to be able to make some small trail segments available to the public sometime this year, probably in the area of Mansfield Island, and which is in Delran, and the Hocus Point Trail, which exists in that wall behind Carlucci. We'd like to expand that and bring it down to the County Ag Center on Centerton Road in Morristown. Historic Smithville, we just awarded a contract to a consultant to do the first phase of an updated master plan. We first did a master plan in Smithville in 1996. A lot has changed since then. There were 25 historic structures. A lot of them we have rehabilitated, but some of them need a lot of work. So we think the first phase is to really look at the conditions of the existing structure and determine what needs to be done first to prevent further deterioration of these buildings. We last year announced that we will be hosting the Underground Railroad Museum at Smithville. We made available to the museum our visitor center at what we call 34 Maple, so they have an exhibit there now. We're in the process of restoring one of our workers' houses. It looks like that now. We had to tear asbestos off of it, so it's pretty unsightly. But hopefully by the end of the year, it will look something like this, which is one of our restored workers' houses, and we'll open it up as a museum sometime in 2015. We're in the process now of making renovations to our community agriculture center in Morristown. We have put a new roof on the barn, which was important to everybody that had stuff stored in there, and to the poor sheep that lived in there. We are building a commercial kitchen. The kitchen will go from this, and this is kind of what it looks like now. We're hoping that facility will be available for rental for those that would like to take Jersey Fresh products and turn them into value-added products, or just as a rental space for office meetings and that sort of thing. So this project should be done by the end of April in time for our 2014 Farmers Market, which will start on May the 14th, no, May the 17th. Last year we announced that we had forged a relationship between West Hampton Township, the State Department of Division of Parks and Forestry, the Rancocas Conservancy, and Friends of the Rancocas Nature Center to keep this facility open. It was under the control of New Jersey Audubon, who announced that they would close the facility at the end of 2012, and thanks to the efforts of the freeholders, this facility is open. It had a very active year last year with 13,000 people visiting and participating in year-round programs. So we're going to assist the Friends of the Rancocas Nature Center in keeping this going. Another new project for us in 2013 was the acquisition of what was known as the Mount Howley Library. It's now known as the Burlington County Lyceum of History and Natural Sciences, which was the name of the facility when it first opened in the 1860s. That facility has continued to be used as a community resource. The library is still functioning there. We've brought more programming to the facility, and most importantly, we've completed a building assessment. So hopefully by the end of this year, we will begin work on structural improvements to the building, some interior renovations, an upgrade of the parking facilities and the HVAC system, which is really important. The Lyceum contains a lot of historic documents that really do need to be protected. And we're exploring the future use of the facility as a historical document archive and a place for people to go to research history and possibly genealogy. Municipal Parks Development Program that started by the freeholders in 2010. Every year they've allocated $5 million to grants to municipalities for park improvement projects. To date, we've given $114 40 municipalities. And I'm happy to report that about 50% of the projects that were funded are complete and being used by the residents of those communities. These graphics describe the types of projects that are being funded, anywhere from passive recreation to active rec fields to top lots. So this evening, the freeholders approved the 5th round of funding under this program, and another $5 million will be granted to township park improvements. The applications are due June 30th, and these photos show actual projects that were funded through the use of these grant funds. So, the future, I think the future looks pretty good. Our fund balance will remain robust. If we spend all the money that we anticipate spending, we are going to end the year with a balance of about $24 million in the account. That balance in 2015 will be sufficient to allow for a continued pursuit of the goals set forth in the Farmland Preservation Plan or Parks and Open Space Master Plan. We'll be able to continue to support the municipalities with their park programs and take on additional historic preservation projects that will be called for in the updated Smithville Master Plan. So that's my presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony.
At this point, we'll open up the public hearing. This will be on the dedicated levy. We'll have different part of the meeting where you'll be able to have discussion about any other items you'd like to, but this is tied to this one item. Does anyone have any comments on it? Please do.
Good evening, Barbara Rich, 37 East Central, Morristown. Presentation was excellent, as usual. And my question is that going to be put on the county webpage? I realize how important narrative is. By the same token, it's an impressive accomplishment.
Thank you, Barbara, and I would like to make it available on the county website. We're in the middle of transition to a new website, so perhaps by the end of April.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I guess I harken back to last year when the tax was reduced, and I thought at that point I remember hearing that this year you would consider putting it back to the 4 cent levy, and I was wondering if you could share with me why that did not happen.
Really?
Yes, go ahead, Joseph.
Last year, when we had this conversation, we had $48 million in the reserve. We anticipated dropping to $36 million with the county spend this year. We actually only dropped with the county spend to $41 million. That's based largely on a lot of reimbursements from DOD, SADC, and other shareholders in that process. We're looking to spend $19 million this year. That fund is still in a position where we have an excess of funding available for years to come. And we continue to monitor that. I have that conversation with the agriculture community on a regular basis that we will, in fact, continue our programs. Last year, we had 2 programs come into us that we didn't even anticipate in our spend. Rancocas Nature Center, it came out of nowhere, but we had that sense of obligation, this board did, to keep that facility going. 3 of them, actually. Underground Railroad Museum. Those folks were out. They did not have a home anymore. That was an expense that the county took on because it was, in fact, the right thing to do. We don't want to lose all that history, and now we have a centralized repository for it. And then, last but not least, was the Mount Holly Library or the Lyceum. We've been sadly in need of a county history museum for a number of years. At least I like history, so it's one of those things I thought we always needed. That just afforded us a unique opportunity to put something like that right in the county seat, and we will continue to spend on that. We have, Mr. Brickley's not designed to speak to that tonight, but he's already shown me some preliminary numbers. There is, in fact, a great deal of life safety, structural, HVAC enhancements that we're going to make to that building, and that's all part of they were all expenditures that we made, which would have been on top of that $12 million we anticipated spending, but because of reimbursements, we didn't have to spend. So therefore, we're in a situation now where we're still sitting with $41 million in the bank. We're going to continue, at least in the short term, to see our reimbursements come through SADC, but DOD continues to be a continuous partner with us in terms of farmland preservation around the military reservation.
Thank you. With the fact that hopefully will be an anticipated referendum in November for the 3 acres bonus. If that by chance is not successful, then will the county revisit this dedicated fund?
I'm not speaking for the whole, well, I am going to speak for the whole board here because it's a statute. We'll revisit this again next year at this very time. You know, and there's going to come a point, and I made this very clear last year, where we as a board are going to have to increase this tax again. Because no one on this board wants to be the one to walk away from.
You set such a good example for all.
Yep.
I do have a question about the Rowan property and what monies will be expended for that to be approved to the class that others are.
Rowan, we're in negotiation with West Hampton Township right now to take that property over because it will stay as open space. It's not going to migrate at all, but it's actually something better utilized by West Hampton Township than it is by the county.
Will you have any oversight as to how that?
How it's utilized, we'll have oversight, trails, we're dropping trails along in there. We want to make sure we have continued access to the creek. Yeah, we're partnering with West Hampton Township.
There's a lot of wooded area there, and it would be a shame to reduce that degree of wooded area on that beautiful property.
There is, and I'll have to check on that. I'm not in a position to answer that question this evening.
Okay, and thank you for all.
Thanks, Barbara.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I'd look for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Freeholder Howard, second.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Donnelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? And we will move on to item 1. Freeholder Donnelly?
Thank you, Director. At this time, I move for adoption, resolution number 1, the authorization for the collection of a dedicated levy of 1 1/2 cents per $100 of equalized valuation for deposition in the Burlington County Open Space, Recreation and Farmland and Historic Preservation Trust Fund, and allocating such funds among the approved uses for the Department of Resource Conservation.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Donnelly, second by Freeholder Howard. Questions? Comments? Hearing none, can we have a roll call?
Freeholder Belgard,
Yes.
Freeholder Donnelly,
Yes.
Freeholder Howard,
Yes.
Freeholder Schwartz,
Yes.
and Director Gargano.
Yes. And now we will move on to item I, which is public comments on any agenda items. So this is going to basically be tied to our agenda items. There is a piece at the end of the meeting for just general topic. So anyone? Mr. Blanch?
Yeah, I got something to say.
Agenda item or?
Yes, part of that, but I'll wait until the meeting is finished.
Yes, sir. Okay, I appreciate that. Anyone else on agenda items? Seeing none, we will move on to resolutions. Freeholder Howard.
Thank you, Director. At this time, Director, I'd like to pull out resolution number 1, temporary emergency application for the 2014 budget. This is a roll call vote, and it needs to be voted on separately.
And you have a motion on that? It's your
Yes.
motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Howard, second by Freeholder Donnelly. Questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Freeholder Belgard,
Yes.
Freeholder Donnelly,
Yes.
Freeholder Howard,
Yes.
Freeholder Schwartz,
Yes.
and Director Gargano.
Yes.
Thank you, Director. Director, at this time, I'd like to move for unanimous consent resolutions number 2 through 18.
You have a motion by Freeholder Howard, second
Second.
by Freeholder Donnelly. Questions?
I would like to make a motion to remove items 3 and 6 for further discussion.
Second.
Just if I may, from a procedural point of view,
I'm going to ask Mr. Howard or Freeholder Howard to amend his motion.
to make a motion for adoption, as he moved to remove that from the consent agenda. I think there's another motion that's required to vote resolution number 1.
I thought we did.
I thought we voted to pull it out.
I thought there was consent on pulling it out. I thought it was a voice vote on
Voice vote on it.
consent.
It was? All right. I'm a
Then
7-second
I thought
delay.
you were asking a question on the next one.
No, I'm not there yet. I'm on the 7-second delay.
All right, so I have, Joe, you're going to amend your motion to pull out items 3 and was it 5?
6.
6? I'm
3 and
sorry. 3 and 6.
That was my motion.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I second that.
All righty. So at this point, we have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll move to item 3. Do we have a motion to put that on the floor?
Make the motion to put that on the floor, Director.
Do we have a second?
Second?
I have a motion by Freeholder Howarth, second by Freeholder Bellegarde. Comments or questions?
With regard to number 3?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Troy, I have some questions with regard to the bill list. Not too many. On page 12, there's an item there for, and I'm sorry, I didn't jot down who it was to, but there's an item there for $1,269 for inmate board games. How many board games are we getting for $1,200?
First of all, this is paid from the inmate welfare fund, so it's not county funds per se. I asked the same thing, and I mean, there's a lot of Parcheesian games, and they seem to get destroyed.
Okay, because I'm all for people having games to play, but that seems like a lot of board games.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people, and you know, I guess everybody has a game, and sometimes the pieces are missing, and etc.
Okay. Thank you for getting the invoices that I asked you to me. I'm going to skip to page 70. There's an item on page 70 for Pannoni Associates, $2,025. Can you just tell me what that's for?
Yes, Freeholder. This still relates back to the Buttonwood property. They did some GPS location survey. This is one of the bills that still came up from back then, but that's related to the Buttonwood survey when the sale was confirmed.
Oh, okay. So we had to have the property surveyed for the sale?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any other bills outstanding on
Not
that?
that I know of. This one just came out, and we have to pay it.
Okay. But they did the work and
They
they're done and, okay.
I checked with the engineer, and it was good to go.
And then the final question I had on the bills was page 76. There's a bill on there for the Rosieri School, $1,333.34. Can you tell me what that is, please?
This is with job training. I'm not quite sure what the Rosieri School is. Is that
You know what the Rosieri.
I know what the Rosieri School is, that's what I was asking. It's like a cosmetology, hair salon type, yeah.
But I
Okay.
know it's for that.
Okay. Those are all the questions I have on number 3.
Thank you. Any other? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? And then we'll look for a motion on item number 6.
Make the motion to put number 6 on the floor.
Motion by Freeholder Howard, second
Second.
by Freeholder Schwartz. Questions?
Okay, so, my question, you want my questions on number 6?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yep,
So
please
my
go,
question's
sorry.
on number 6. I don't know who to direct this to. Just go to you too, okay. There were bids for uniforms correction officers, and it looks like we're awarding to Atlantic Tactical. But when I looked at the breakdown sheet, it looked like some of the items in the submission were missing, like the qualifications questionnaire, the warranty, the statement from insurance broker. I mean, are those problems that we didn't get those and we're going to award?
Usually what we do is we follow, once this goes through, we make sure all those documents are in place. But, from our first glance, it looks like a good award. But we'll
Okay.
make sure those documents are there. And we can correct
So they're not going to be a problem?
them. They're not.
Okay, that was my only question on that.
Okay. Any other? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Freeholder Donnelly.
Thank you, Director. This time I move for unanimous consent of items numbered 19 through 23.
But the rest of them,
Second.
We have a motion by Freeholder Donnelly, second by Freeholder Howarth. Any questions?
So I just had a question on item 21. If we could just have, I looked at the actual resolution and I didn't see a real description of the services to be provided there. If we could just have a description of what the services are.
Oh, this is looking to see if in fact there's a UST or any other environmental issues such as asbestos and all.
Okay,
Yeah, it's environmental.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Freeholder Schwartz.
This time I'd like to move for unanimous consent of items number 24 and 25.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Schwartz, second by Freeholder Howarth. Man, I just drew a blank, sorry about that.
First day on the job.
Yeah, I forgot his name, huh? That's not good. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, now we're going nominations and election to the Construction Board of Appeals. Wait, one off, Arthur. All right, nomination and election to the Emergency Service Advisory Board.
Director, I'd like to place into consideration the names of Craig Augustoni for chairman, J. Lee Daniker, who is with us this evening, for vice chair, Ryan Hoffman, Fran Peguric, Anthony Burnett, William Smith, Philip Drangula, Robert Tobin, and George Jackson III.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, I guess we can vote yes, no, up, down on this. So
Names is read.
Names is read.
names is read. Roll call.
Freeholder Belgard.
Yes is read.
Freeholder Donnelly.
Names is read.
Freeholder Haworth.
Names is read.
Freeholder Schwartz.
Names is read.
And Director Gargano.
Names is read. And we'll move on to our nominations and election to the Construction Board of Appeals.
Director, at this time, I'd like to nominate for the Construction Board of Appeals a 4-year term, Michael Reed, Gene Blair, Brad Wren. I'd also like to designate Michael Reed as chairman for a 1-year term, and I'd like to designate Gene Blair as vice chairman for a 1-year term.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, we have a roll call.
Freeholder Belgard.
As read.
Freeholder Donnelly.
Names is read.
Freeholder Haworth.
Names is read.
Freeholder Schwartz.
Names is read.
And Director Gargano.
Names is read. We'll move on to the appointments for the Aging Advisory Council. They will be Athea Pennock, Samuel Podites, T. Lucille Boone, Jane Zebro, Ida Bright, Paula Redmond, Lisa Killian Smith, Walter Tromlin Jr. Director Office on the Aging is Linda Cushing for 2014, and the freeholder liaison to the Office on Aging, I guess, would be me, correct?
That would be correct.
It would be me. And they'll come out of the director's office. Now we'll move on to item M, questions from the press.
Do we have to vote on it? Oh, he's appointed, okay, sorry.
The only questions I had were for numbers 24 and 25. Were those routine things, or were they prompted by specific circumstances?
You want to answer that? No, I have the,
Okay. Provide you some more information if you'd like. Okay. No, that's fine, thanks.
is there any more information? There's nothing else you need to know?
Nope.
Okay.
Carol?
For 21, could you elaborate a little more on that property?
It's a single-family residential property directly across the street from Smithville, on what, Smithville Road? Mead Avenue in East Hampton Township. The owners are no longer there. It's not, is it in the state yet or no? No. But the owners are no longer there. It fits well within what the county needs to complete that, a better parking area and actually a better maintenance area for our facilities at Smithville. So we will in fact be taking the home down.
Do you know the actual address, what it is?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm sure I have it someplace.
It's off the Margaret, Carol. You can't buy it now.
Do you know roughly how large the property is?
So it's about 4 acres of land. 4 acres.
Mayor Pat, we can get to her after the meeting.
Is that it, Carol?
If that's okay.
Good?
Okay.
Thank you. I think that would be it. We will move on to item public comment. You're first, you signed up. Name and address.
Yes, sir. Atlanta, Fort Drive, Wisconsin Township. I'm here tonight to thank the freeholders for the good job they're doing of carrying down land to preserve. And I'd like to make a request that one of these properties, a small property, can give it to All Soldier Home and become a powder place for us. If it be possible, I really appreciate it. And thank you, Mr. Giuliano, for coming back.
Thank you, sir.
Paul Chenier, live over Mount Laurel. I asked this a few months ago, got a very vague answer, so I'll ask it again, this time in two parts. What's the status of the Finance Library?
To the best of my knowledge, it's open.
Now, that's a smart answer.
Well, that's not vague, that's very direct.
Okay, what's the status between Medford Township and also Freeholders? To keeping it open and also expanding it, whatever the case is.
I think our intention is in fact to keep it open, and my understanding, I have not been briefed on this recently, Paul, but my understanding is that the governing body in Medford is trying to work with the county to come up with a solution that works for both Medford Township and the county residents.
Okay, how about the $30,000 that the county agreed to pay?
I think we reimbursed. My understanding is we did not. Okay,
We're in the process.
We're in the process of reimbursing.
Well, according to Mirror page, so the posting that he placed on his Facebook page, there is a holdup, and he's blaming you guys.
A hold up on the 30,000?
The 30,000 along with the formal agreement. The
We've
formal
asked,
agreement's been-
we've asked for documentation. There's a letter that has been sent or will be sent to the mayor. We've simply asked for documentation for the $30,000, and once he provides the documentation, the bill will be paid.
Can I ask what that documentation is?
Probably vouchers.
Vouchers.
Much like a voucher. So in other words, if they had the work done in-house, justify your hours. If they had the work done outside of house, provide us with invoicing and vouchering, just like any other
Right.
municipal or county purchase order or procurement process. We need to back. We can't just get a bill that says you owe us $30,000 for maintenance. We need to know, it has to be itemized. We need to replace 5 light fixtures. Each light fixture was $90. It cost $100 per fixture to install them. Here's the bill. And then, here's a copy of the invoice. That's the only way we can do it, because we have auditors just like any other governmental entity
I
does.
understand that, so a blank, and I say blank, so a $30,000 check will not be sent to the township. You will only reimburse them for whatever expenses they're.
That's correct, yeah. Well,
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Thank you, sir. Mr. Bracy.
It's good to see you. Last time we talked, Bruce, I put in your hands a proposal. Citizens serving the homeless. At that time, it was community of hope. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Have you looked at it yet?
I think I saw it back then. It's been probably a year and a few
A
months
long
now.
time, hasn't it?
It has been a little bit.
Hopefully you'll look at one I'm going to leave with you tonight. Because quite frankly, Bruce, and I know that because I've worked with the population, I devote my time with the population. Mr. Robert Taylor, who was referred to as drunken Santa Claus, and a gentleman that died in a fire recently around Tom's River were both 65. One was 65, the other was 75, and both were homeless from Burlington County. And I assure you, sir, as the citizens serving the homeless, which is now called Community of Opportunity, had been operational, there would be 2 lives at a better place today. So what I'm asking you to do tonight as a body is something you didn't do about 4 years ago, Bruce. 4 years ago, Bruce, when I offered an opportunity for a public-private partnership, and I commend Freeholders for creating public-private partnerships with the township of and you did with the township of Willingboro, through what used to be a recreational space for swimming, but through the township of Mount Holly and West Hampton. Thank you. So I know you can do it for citizens serving the homeless in regard to a community center of opportunity, particularly considering we now have 2 dead homeless Burlington County residents that could have best been serviced in a program that would have been supervised. I am also hopeful, based on the Burlington County Times, not mine, although I've been a forerunner There is an immediate need for an independent investigation in reference to the handling by the Burlington County Prosecutors Union. With all due respect, Mr. Donald, your comments were insulting, sir. How you insulted someone that served time in jail. I guess you thought he was common riffraff. Perhaps you didn't
Paul,
know he
stay behind the
graduated
podium,
from Bishop
please.
Hughes Preparatory High School. I have a son that has a graduate in criminal justice from Keene University. I have two sons. Oh, guess what, Joe? He's a St. Joe's grad.
Go Hawks.
2 degrees, you got it. 2 degrees in criminal justice. And I can tell you my one son, who worked at Trenton State Prison, Yardville, which is now Wagner, and Gardner State Prison understands what due protocol is. Due protocol was not followed. But had there been a mental health specialist during initial intake, he would have been routed to a center, a community of hope for the homeless. He was not. Oh, did you know? Oh, perhaps you didn't know that, chosen board of freeholders. Mr. Robert Taylor, 75, was not a drunken Bob Santa Claus. He had severe mental illness, which is often masked, as you know, freeholder Swartz, as severe alcoholism. But the intake unit didn't assess, and you know why they didn't assess? Oh, please. I talked to my son, who now makes recommendations to the parole board. I talked to my son who did his master thesis in the streets of North Philly, dealing with drug addicts and alcoholics, most of which are homeless. You are not adequately representing the community of Burlington, I'm sorry, the county of Burlington and its residents, if you do not insist tonight on an independent investigation by the state attorney's office. This was aired on talk show radio, the Jersey Guys. Over 80%, over 85% of the respondents said there is a dire need for an independent investigation. How many deaths do we have within a span of years? Zay Toole, remember him? And another inmate that died with a pacemaker. But the investigation findings were no criminal activity. You know what? There may not have been, but there was serious gross neglect and abuse. I am begging you, please, I'm asking just for a few seconds. I have tried to control myself with due respect.
Paul, wrap it up.
I am asking for a few seconds.
Paul, wrap it up.
Thank you. This is not a political issue with me. I have come before you, and the beauty of this, and you know it, Paul, you know it, Joe, you know it, Joanne, you know it, Pete, everything I've said has been recorded and cannot be refuted. You don't have to like me in spite of my degrees and honors. I understand I got serious behavioral disorders, but you know what? I did the field research for the creation of Burlington County Special Services, was the first ever district teacher of the year, and was the top teachers in Willingboro Township, and had 5 certifications signifying nothing. But what I've done every day of my life is make a difference with the downtrodden population.
Paul, could you
There
end
is
it on that?
a
Thank you.
dire need, I'm sorry, sir, for you as representatives of the County of Burlington to insist, based on 3 findings from 3 separate
Paul,
investigations.
Paul, we allowed you to go on.
I
Please wrap
got
it
my
up. Thank
time's
you.
up.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
I hope you write a letter to Reverend Ken
Paul,
Howell.
back up. Back up.
I'll take a look at
Back
these, Paul.
up. Back up.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none?
You know what, if I, Mr. Bracy comes to these meetings periodically. You're done. You may sit down.
We're not going to have a debate now.
Oh, I'm not up for debate, but I'd love to debate you in conference.
Understood.
Yeah, I understand why you won't either.
Mr. Bracy comes to these meetings periodically and hurls accusations at the board, hurls accusations at residents.
Paul,
Paul,
one more time. Paul, one more time, and you're going to be escorted out.
So you better take your conversation with the board.
Paul, one more interruption, and you're going to be escorted out. One more.
You heard my point as well.
It's your final one.
Claims that we're not acting on behalf of the residents of this county if we don't follow his lead. Well, to clear up some of the misinformation that's been put out there this evening, as well as misinformation we put out there 2 weeks ago, there was in fact an independent investigation. The prosecutor of the County of Burlington is appointed by the state of New Jersey. It's not appointed by the Board of Chosen Freeholders. The prosecutor's investigators are appointed by the prosecutor, who's appointed by the state of New Jersey, not the Burlington County Board of Chosen Freeholders. They have done the investigation. They have ruled that this is an extraordinarily tragic situation that this man passed in the hands of the county, but that no one had done anything criminally negligent. And, you know, with regards to Mr. Bracy saying that we need a homeless center, the county has embarked, and Anna Pienza, who may or may not be here this evening, I can't see, she's behind the podium, okay, she has worked.
10-year farce, nothing less than what you
Paul,
Good night.
You're a sham!
Paul, you're out and you won't be back.
I'll be back at the next meeting.
And we'll be
With
here.
legal representation.
That will be quite an accomplishment.
The reality of it is this board has worked with numerous stakeholders in Burlington County to develop a 10-year plan on homelessness. This board has been supportive of it. The stakeholders in the community have been supportive of the county's 10-year plan on homelessness and will continue to do so. We have taken proactive measures, not reactive measures, to stem homelessness in this county. We wish that everyone that needed assistance would take advantage of the services offered by the county when they're available. There is a segment of the population, and I'm not saying whether it's 1%, 1/10 of 1%, or 10%, that don't wish to participate in the services that are offered by the county when it comes to homelessness or helping. We try. It's troubling to me, and I know it's troubling to all my colleagues on the board when someone won't take the help. But that does not mean that we need to immediately scrap the years of effort that have gone into our good work to trying to end homelessness in this county and morph it into a program that, quite frankly, has been espoused by a gentleman for a number of years right now, but with a pamphlet. That's all I have to say, Director.
Thank you, Freeholder. At this point, seeing no other public comment, we'll move on to comments from freeholders. Freeholder Bellegarde?
Sure.
I'm going to go alphabetically, I think.
That sounds good. I don't have too much to say tonight. I just want to mention there was a lot of talk about our county parks this evening, and I had the pleasure of attending with my two sons the Pennington Park cleanup a couple weeks ago. My 9-year-old was very proud of himself in pulling out a buoy and a life preserver while we were there. He tries to get something bigger each time, I think. So it's a really great program. If you have the opportunity, I know there's lots of spring cleaning going on in the parks right now, and I think over the next couple of weeks there will be more at our parks. It's a great way to explore the parks in maybe a way that you haven't before, and really to be a great steward of the parks as well. So also, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but I know that there is an electronics recycling and shred event this weekend too, on the 29th from 9 to 1 at our recycling center. I've taken advantage of it in the past, and I would recommend that folks do so as well. It's a great service that we offer here in Burlington County. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Freeholder Schwartz?
Yes, I wanted to comment that I had been to an open house of Powerback, which is a new skilled nursing facility on Martyr Avenue, and I'm really happy to say that it's going to bring more jobs into the county. I have a concern that recently there was an article, I believe it was in the Inquirer, that it might have been in the Burlington County Times, that our unemployment rate in the county has gone up. Yes? Jean, you're familiar with that? Yes? It's going up. I'm hoping that that was seasonal due to the bad weather, but I have concerns about that. But again, I'm very happy to see companies like Genesis build new facilities so that we can bring more jobs into our county. And it looked like a great facility.
Jim O'Donnell?
Thank you, Director. I said a lot tonight. Quite frankly, Mary Pat, your shot, great job on this presentation, but more importantly, great job on the implementation of the program. It is, Barbara made a good point earlier, this is a program that other counties in New Jersey, but quite frankly, other counties throughout the country look to when they model and put their programs together. So you and your staff deserve to be patted on the back, but also all of our municipal stakeholders too. All these communities that have jumped on board and support not only the tax, but also their share, the local share when we do farmland preservation, the local share when we do parks development. You know, it's not something that can be singly completed by the county. So congratulations to everyone on that. Freeholder Schwartz, I agree with you. I saw that unemployment number, and that's particularly troubling. And that's why I think we need to continue on our efforts to, you know, develop good tax policy to continue to make Burlington County as business friendly as we possibly can. We've had some success attracting some larger employers in here lately, but as we move forward, this board is going to have to be diligent in making sure we maintain those industries that are here, be they federal, state, or private, and then also enhancing what we can. So I couldn't agree with you more, and we do need to be mindful about creating new jobs. And Bruce, welcome back.
Thank you.
And that's all I have, sir.
It's a heck of a welcome. Freeholder Howard.
Thank you, Director. Well, everybody knows we have had a terrible winter. And about a month ago, I think almost to the date, this Freeholder Board basically recognized the fact that we have potholes in the county that you could drive by and just see a giraffe head sticking out. So we came up with a great plan, and that plan was implemented by Joe Brickley and his staff. I would just like to take the time right now to thank Joe and his staff for doing a phenomenal job, because if you really took a look at how much was accomplished in that short time, well, in fact, better me say it. Let me, Joe, could you please let people know what's going on, because the numbers are astounding, and I think you'll be astounded.
As the Freeholder said a few moments ago, we had a three-point plan that was implemented. Just some of the numbers associated with it. The county itself has responded to over 1,200 potholes. To give you an idea, the amount of material that's being used, we use about 410 tons of cold patch or hot patch, which is about 800,000 pounds of material. And that's not counting what the townships have taken from us and used to fill both their own township potholes as well as those on county roads. We've also, through shared services with the Bridge Commission as well as with the townships and some of our existing contracts, we've paved about 121,000 square feet of road, done full road replacement. Probably the largest area is Route 543 through the tunnel in Edgewater Park. That's probably one of our largest, the largest of the undertaking. We have had 10 areas, and tomorrow, weather permitting, we will finish the last of the major areas, which will be Creek Road. So we've done full depth milling and replacement in some areas. So once again, to give it some scale, almost a mile of road, of a 40-foot wide road, we've done in the last 2 weeks. So the folks that I represent, and I'm just the engineer, those guys carry a heavy load. They've done a fantastic job. The engineering department, the roads and bridges department, is utilizing the existing contract. So I will pass on to them the accolades that you guys have provided. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Great job. Appreciate it. Director?
Thank you. I just got a couple of things I wanted to go with. I just wanted to say that I'm honored to join the board and continue my service to the people of Burlington County. I look forward to working across the aisle to extend our long-held tradition of cutting government spending, holding the line on taxes, all while maintaining and expanding first-rate services that we strive to provide in Burlington County. As the director, I will preserve the priorities set out by the board at the beginning of the year. We will pass a budget that once again reduces the tax burden for the Burlington County residents, and we will pass it soon. We will continue on our new initiative, Workforce Development Initiative, working with our partners in the public and private sectors to shape education and training for potential employees around the needs of local employers. Through this and our efforts, we will increase job creation and further improve our economic climate. Working together, we will uphold our commitment to assist our municipalities through programs that create cost savings. The County Recreational Grant Program, which we saw tonight, is one of those programs that has done a great job to help communities do things in bad economic times that normally you wouldn't be able to do in a municipal level. With that, I'd just like to thank you, and I look forward to working with you all. I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by Freeholder Howard, second by Freeholder Schwartz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?